he shows up and he's like, oh no, it's all dudes! Hey everyone, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to the Cinematic Reviewer. Today I'm reviewing Eternity. This movie had great coloring. It was so nice to watch on the big screen, just all the colors. And I'm sure we all know colors in general, in the world, in architecture, in movies, it's all going away. At least when you watch my channel, I got plenty of color. Do not worry about that. Anyway, I was so happy to see it. We just got such colorful aspects, furniture in the movie, colors all over. It was so great to see. They were so vibrant. There's the colors. This is what we need. Exactly. Also, there was great cinematography for someone who's really, I understand acting, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they would disagree with me. But because I've seen Elizabeth Olsen in other things, I did think her acting was very good because she was so not the way she has been in other movies. It was very much what this character is. Like, she was definitely exemplifying it. But I will say I was pretty ticked off at the director. This guy, the number of times when she's panicking and freaking out, there's a way to have hyperventilation, there's a way to have someone gasping and struggling physically as they're mentally and emotionally going through it. There's a way to do it without it sounding like it's on a XXX website. I'll tell you what, I was like, are you kidding me right now? I was so irritated, and the whole thing is that she's freaking out about this dilemma. We do not need to have you breathing like that, dude. And then they have a similar thing happen where Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen, she's freaking out like I'm saying. And so he is like, oh, go ahead and do squats, because the whole thing with their characters is they were both super old not that long ago, because now they're dead and they're these young 30-something cells, and so they're able to do these squats the way they are gasping and the way they are doing that thing that people have to do as they're breathing out. Dude, again, it sounds like you're having sex. What are you doing? That was 100% not necessary. I was very, very irritated. Now, something that's interesting to me, the second I saw the trailer, I wasn't buying it. So, for some reason, there are ladies out there who think the guy who plays Luke is all the rage. They are super thirsty for this guy. Some Letterboxd reviewers were all like, oh my gosh, I would do anything to spend eternity with this man. And it's like, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? The dude, Luke, as is the name of the character in the movie, he looks like Derek from Monsters vs. Aliens. Are you telling me you're gonna thirst for Derek from Monsters vs. Aliens? Come on, people. Just ew. I will say, the title is Eternity, and eternity said a lot in the movie. You know what else was like an eternity? The runtime. Dude, it was taking forever. My mom was getting ready for it to be over. Definitely, you know when someone's like ready to leave the theater, they start kind of shuffling around, getting a little bit more restless. Guy next to me, oh my gosh, he was like ready to leave. And it really was one of these things of, I would say, the beginning and middle were pretty decent, and then aspects as it's kind of leaving the middle to get closer to the end, it's just not ending. It's just not wrapping up. It's like, it's definitely a slower paced movie, and it's so, she's going back and forth. What to decide? Oh, I can't make my decision. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, we could have been over this 30 minutes ago. Like, it was not necessary to extend it this way, to have it go this way. I was truly shocked. I was like, what was this? A 2.5 hour long movie? No, it was like an hour 54. I was like, what? That's crazy. It really felt like it was going so long. Like I'm saying, I think they were good with the beginning of the movie. It's definitely, things are going. It's a pretty solid pace. And And then it's just like, she can't make up her mind. It's so frustrating. So I would say this is a movie. I don't recommend it. I'm sure the people who go to A24 movies are going to see it regardless. It's just kind of here. Like, I was immersed in the movie during the movie, but it is a little like, I didn't need to see that. It's definitely not a movie I needed to see. And I will say, Elizabeth Olsen, I've definitely seen her in things. Miles Teller, I've seen him in things. And I will say, he's getting old, man. Like, I remember him being in the Divergent movies and that sort of thing. The Spectacular Now and Whiplash. And now it's like, whoa, he's getting up there in age, man. I was a little like, yikes. Now, I would like to talk about in this movie the different versions of eternities that you could be a part of. I had turned to my mom and said that's the one that I would go in for the No Man's Land. That's 100% which one I would have picked if I was in this universe. But I will say, there were some that I was very irritated by. Now, there were some that I definitely would have been open to as well. For example, they had the discontinued eternities and the simple life. That sounds great. Now, one thing too that kind of irritates me about the movie, where did they go? Did they go to the simple life? Like, they didn't say which of the worlds they went into, which eternity they went into. I'm thinking it's the simple life, but I'd kind of like to know proper confirmation. It does rub me the wrong way when there's a movie where it's like, it's not an open-ended ending. And with this, it's so easy to be like, okay, of all these eternities we showed you throughout the movie, this is the one they ended up at. Nope, it's just kind of like, they're in this place that looks pretty much like the regular world. Couldn't just tell us which one it was. That did kind of irk me a bit. Another thing too, I will say, I could not at all get into the look of this Callum guy, and maybe part of it because I did look to see, and he is a European actor. Maybe that's it. I usually, it doesn't really appeal to me, but I will say, his voice was decent. There were plenty of times I was like, if I closed my eyes, I could picture Chris Evans saying this. So there were times where his voice was okay, and I'm not saying he's a clone voice-wise of Chris Evans, but there were times where it was like, oh, look at that. Now, there were ones that were particularly gross, and in general, they were just maybe they weren't sexually explicit in this movie. Yes, like there's like a sex scene, but it's not very major or anything. But just in general, the number of references to sex and engaging with many a peeps, you know what I'm saying? And some of the worlds, some of the eternities you could be a part of. Everything goes eternity? Ain't no way, man. But I will say, when I saw that, in general, I was disgusted, but also, if I was in charge, let's say I was in charge of this movie, and we did see like all the worlds and everything, all the eternities, I would love to have it be kind of like that dating app where they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna make this separate dating app and it was only men. I would love to see that. If they go to the everything goes, because they literally have, as if it's a gentleman's club, they have the image like that for that banner and everything for the Everything Goes world. I would love to see it. If you would see a guy be like, I picked this eternity, and he shows up, and he's like, oh no, it's all dudes. I would be very happy about that, because obviously, we know exactly what they were wanting. They didn't get it. Anyway, in general, it kind of would have been nice to check out the other eternities. I do understand why some people were saying in their Letterboxd reviews, less on the focus of the romance, just getting to see these alternate worlds that people would be living in. I definitely think that could have been interesting. Maybe like a TV show or something, or just something where we got to just see more than just her. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot one of my most favorite parts from this movie. Okay, so in this movie, as the trailer says, and in general, Elizabeth Olsen has to choose between her first husband who died in the war. And then she has to choose between the husband she's been with for 65 years. What to decide? Oh my gosh, yeah. And everyone is like, oh my gosh, Luke is so hot, you gotta go with him. And I was like, first off, not cool, guys. Second off, are we looking at the same guy? Like I'm saying. But with that, she does end up making the decision. At first, I picked neither of you. And I was like, sounds good. And so then it was good with Miles Teller, where he's like, he runs to her, to the train and everything, and is like, go to him, have this life with him. I just want you to be happy, because that was really his focus. He very much wanted to make her happy. And I'm not saying they had to end it right there, but it would have been nice if instead we could have just ended the movie there and she saw, because the self-sacrifice sometimes is the proper show of true love, and it would have been nice because she looks back at him after she gets off the train to go to the other guy, and you almost think, oh, well, you coming to me and letting me go shows that you are 100% who I should spend eternity with. Nah, they just gotta keep going and going and going with the runtime. So we go and see her life with Luke in this eternity and everything, and she's not pleased. And so there's this archive thing where they're checking out all their memories and stuff. And at first she had been pretty down with the memories she had had with her first husband, but then she's seeing Larry and everything. Larry's Miles Teller, the second husband, and she's actually really happy. Now here's where the movie really gets into this part I loved so much. So she is like, I cannot be with Luke. This is not right. And I in general, the second I saw this whole concept thing, you're choosing between the honeymoon kind of relationship versus the full love, this love that you fought for, that you worked for, and you're not the same person you were 67 years ago. You're a completely different person now. So, if anything, it just makes sense for you to still be with the person who's been your person for that long. And I'm not saying out of obligation. I'm talking about love and care and friendship and all that comes into a relationship like that. And eventually the movie kind of touches on that. Not in the way I'm analyzing it. No. They don't go that far, but in general that they're supposed to be together, which I'm very happy about, because I did not want her to end up with that guy. I was like, ugh, no thanks. So I'm very happy it ended up in the way that I wanted it to, because it really was getting into are you serious? But like I'm saying, the greatest part of the movie is where she's going, because she has to get this key to start to then get to the door so she can escape this eternity, because how it works is you're not supposed to leave, and so you get in trouble, and then your eternity is the void where it's just blackness. And so she's fighting. The whole sequence here is amazing. It's so good. She is fighting tooth and nail to get back to Larry, to fight for her love. It was amazing. It was great physical representation of what it is to love and everything. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And it's like, why did you have to waste our time with so much of this happening in the movie? Because you just did greatness just then. It was so good. It's just one of those of like, there's good aspects in the movie. There's enjoyable aspects in the movie. There's very perverted stuff, very obnoxious stuff, but there's plenty of comedy. I would say they kind of go back on the comedy at some point. They kind of just forgo the comedy, which was a little annoying, but you know, sometimes that's how it goes. But that's where they really shined, with really having that focus on the love. She fought for it, and it was great. And he stayed too. He stayed in like that little, whatever they called that, where everyone comes to and everything before they decide on their eternity, that he stayed, and he's a bartender and everything. And so they get to love, they get to be together. And it worked out so well, and I was like, also I will say, the lady, she's like, oh, because, you know, both of those peeps, they had been helping both of them and everything, but when they stumble upon her, they go ahead and, guard her, make sure she's not captured and everything, which was great. But then she's like, who? And then Elizabeth Olsen says Larry, and she just had the cutest little thing. Like, I 100% understand exactly why she was so excited. She's like, yee! It was so cute. And that's exactly it. We're finally getting what the movie should have been. Now, for my mom, for some reason, she was a little like, probably because of just how long it was going, it's just like, Elizabeth Olsen's character couldn't make up her freaking mind. But she was kind of like, oh, it seemed kind of over with her ending up with Luke. And I'm like, I'm so glad that's not what happened, because we just got a great scene. And in general, that's who she should be with. I'm so happy this is how it ended up going down. So again, not a movie I would recommend when the movie is available online. I at the very least recommend you check out the clip. Like, you know how you can see clips of movies on YouTube. Go to that scene. It is a fantastic scene as she's fighting tooth and nail to get back to Larry, to get back to her love. It's so good. So like I'm saying, there's really good aspects here. A lot of frustrating parts. Definitely way too long of a movie. I would give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It's like, there's good and bad. Plenty of good and bad here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, comment below, and if you liked this video and would like to see more movie content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time. Bye!